What's here, y'all? Welcome back to Reddit the Wire. Well, we've already got our Indiana Derby post out, but we also want to talk about the Iowa Derby at Prairie Meadows this Saturday. It is the seventh race on the card, run at a mile and a 16th for the 3-year-olds. And we've really got only one question in this race, don't we? Is Magnitude going to run anything close to back to that Risen Star in February, or is it going to be somebody else? And kind of that's really the question. That's all I got. I mean, you look at this race, and I mean, if Magnitude comes back to what he was before, which even prior to the Risen Star, he was a pretty good horse. But he just freaked on that day. I mean, I don't know if it was the mud, the outside post, what it was, but he just freaked, and it wasn't the greatest of Louisiana Derby. Or the Louisiana crop wasn't the greatest either, as we've talked about on the Derby trail. So it's not like he beat a whole lot, but it was the way he did it. I don't think anybody was going to beat him that day. If now he got hurt and the work tab looks okay, and Steve Asmussen, I don't think would put him back in a race unless he was completely ready. I think that's for sure. The question I have is, what's he doing in the Iowa Derby? Why isn't he running in the Jim Dandy? Or maybe this is a prep for that. I don't know. But it seems like Magnitude being a graded stakes caliber horse, they would have put him in a graded stakes race to come back. Maybe a small one, maybe the Ohio or the Indiana Derby, because the purse is a little better. So it's a little questionable that he's here. However, if you look at the complexion of this field, It's My Birthday, I don't think is going to run back to that number he just put up in the Texas Derby. That was significantly better than anything he had run prior. So you can't expect him to be in the greatest of form in this race. And if that's the case, Magnitude should have everything pretty much on his own, on the lead by himself, unmolested. And if that's the case, it's going to be a pretty easy race for him if he can maintain a form similar to the Risen Star. Now, he doesn't have to run the Risen Star back to do this. He can run probably 10 points, Brisnet points, lower than that, and win this race comfortably. And I think that's probably what he can do. We also know that he can rate if necessary, so he could just sit off It's My Birthday's throat latch until it's time to go. But, it's I can't have 100% confidence in Magnitude in this race. And I mean, I think we all sort of have that kind of queasy feeling about it. But he also is the best horse in the race. And for that reason, I'm going to pick him on top. But I would highly encourage having an alternative plan, and especially watch him in the paddock and see what he looks like. So we'll talk about the others. I really didn't cross anybody out in this race because I don't really think you can. Probably I'm not the highest on It's My Birthday because, again, I think the bounce potential is there. Authentic Gallop for Tom Amoss. This horse just can't get out of his own way. He really doesn't have the type of running style that is going to work in this race. You're going to have to be very aggressive up on the front end, and you're going to have to really put it to Magnitude and hope you can get him to wilt a little bit. Authentic Gallop doesn't run that way. He seems to be very one-paced, more of a grinder, and I just don't think this race sets up very well for him at all. So I would probably not use him unless I could get a really good price. I'd have to have something like 20 to 1 before I'd use him. Mick Swagger, I think, is headed in the right direction. I actually really like this horse. If it wasn't for Magnitude, I'd probably pick him to win. I liked what I saw from him in the Prairie Mile. He was very professional. He won driving, had a good finish, and he looks like he's on the upward progression. You get him at 8 to 1. I think that's an excellent price. And certainly, if you're going to use Magnitude to win, Mick Swagger with a cold exacta underneath probably would pay pretty well. So Mick Swagger is my second choice in this race. Mavorama is progressing as well. The thing I don't like is that he's that he comes from quite so far back. And again, that's not, this race shape really doesn't set up terribly well for that. But again, I think he's progressing well, and I think he could certainly factor in the exotics. And so, well, underneath only, that's what the asterisk means. And at 12 to 1, you're getting a pretty good price. Mr. Omaha looks, again, one that is progressing as well. However, he's got Luis Quinones aboard him. Luis Quinones is notorious for dropping anchor. And, I saw him do it at Oaklawn continuously. Not to say that he, would, I mean, he can rate a horse, and I think Mr. Omaha he has in the past, but I just kind of got a feeling that they're going to kind of drop anchor and just sort of try to get up for some late prize money. I mean, he's not a bad horse. I just got that feeling that they're, because everybody's sort of playing for second. If Magnitude comes back to his prior form, in my opinion, then maybe that's what they'll do. But underneath only, I don't see Mr. Omaha as a logical win candidate here. Big Truz is cross-entered in the Indiana Derby, and I'd be curious to see which one he goes to. I would say if he runs in the Iowa Derby, it's a reflection on that maybe the trainer's not quite as high on him as we thought he might be. The Woody Stephens was certainly a much better caliber race than the Indiana or the Iowa Derby, but this horse hasn't run around 2 turns yet. I think he can. What I question is the Woody Stephens, if you really look at it, that was kind of a suck-up third. Really wasn't in any contention to win it. And I just wonder if maybe he sort of plateaued as far as he can go. The way he runs, again, I wouldn't see him as a horse who could necessarily win this race based upon the race shape. But can he get up and into the money? Yes, I think he can. I just don't like 5 to 2 for horses who run that way, especially ones who come off the pace on sprints who are now moving into routes. Chance of McPatrick is a great example of that, at how it really, quite often, it doesn't work out. And so Big Trust may be one of those, but it's more the way he runs that I just don't see that really electric kick. He seems more of a grinder type. And if that's the case, like I said, Magnitude beating up near the lead, it's going to be awful hard for him to catch. So I think he's kind of an underlay at 5 to 2 for that reason. I like Mick Swagger a little bit more, and especially if we can get that home, then the value is much more significant. So we all know what the question is in this one, right? I mean, I don't really think there's anything else you can say about this race. We'll look at our wagering strategy. And, we're going to go with Magnitude on top. We're going to put a win bet on Mick Swagger for the value. I think, if Magnitude isn't what he is, I think Mick Swagger's got a really good shot in this race. And at 8 to 1, I love the price. We'll go 4-5, cold. We'll go 4-2, cold as well. I don't want to go much deeper than that. I don't want to mess around a whole lot in kind of a shaky race like this. Trifecta, 4 with 2-5-2-5, 4 with 2-5 with 6-7. And then 4 with 6-7 with 2-5 is kind of a saver. Again, this is a tricky race because so much is resting on a horse who's coming off an injury, who's biggest, had that freakish type of effort. There's a lot of question marks. But again, I'll trust Steve Asmussen. If Magnitude comes back to his prior form, he should win this race. Hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. I wish you the best of luck as always. Certainly, if you do like content like this, please like and subscribe. And again, thanks so much to all of you who have grown our community and continue to contribute positively. Really appreciate that. Saratoga starting up next weekend. We'll be all over that, as well as for the entire meet. Del Mar, Haskell coming up as well, may be there. So plenty of content coming from Right at the Wire, so stay tuned here. So that's it. I'll talk to you soon, and until then, be well.